Homes in Satellite Beach are selling faster than they were a year ago, but sell prices are actually down nearly 15%. So how is that even possible? I'm going to break it down for you because if you own a home here in Satellite Beach or Indian Harbor Beach, the data matters, whether you're thinking about selling or just keeping an eye on your equity. So stay with me because I'm going to break down what has happened in 32937 real estate so far this year and a big mistake that sellers are making. Hi, I'm Lourdes Sliwa, local real estate agent here in Satellite Beach, and I work and live right here in Satellite, and I service the towns of Satellite Beach, Indian Harbor Beach, and Indian Atlantic, and Melbourne Beach. And I do these market updates because I believe data also, I'm kind of a data geek, but I also believe that people should have data in order to make the best decisions, not listen to the gloom and doom and all the feel-good headlines out there that may not apply to you. So let's get into what's actually happening here in Satellite Beach so far in 2026. So let's start with inventory. Active listings in Satellite Beach are down 13% compared to this time last year. There was 421 homes on the market versus 485 last year. New listings are also down about 16%. So there are simply just fewer homes for buyers to choose from right now. And here's where it gets a little counterintuitive. With less competition, you would expect that sellers have more leverage, right? You'd expect prices to be holding strong or even climbing, right? It's just supply and demand. But that's not what's happening at the closing table right now. And that is what's important for sellers to understand and buyers to understand. Fewer listings does not automatically mean higher prices. In this market, it means a little something more nuanced and more strategic. Here's a number that surprised me when I was looking at the data. The average sales price this year to date in 2026 is $564,509. And last year, about the same point, it was $659,986, almost $660,000. And that's a drop about 14.5%. But before you panic, the median sales price tells a little different of a story. The median sales price is actually down about 6% from $532,000 last year to almost $500,000 this year. The median is generally the more stable and reliable number, so that's the one we really use. So what explains this big gap between the average and the median? Well, here's the thing. When fewer high-end homes sell, it pulls the average down dramatically, even if the middle of the market is holding steady, reasonably steady, and that appears to be exactly what's happening right now. But here's what most sellers in Satellite Beach are getting wrong, and that is what I was referring to in the beginning. The median active list price is actually slightly higher than last year. So it's $530,000 now versus $525,000 last year. So sellers are not listing lower, although buyers are paying less. So the gap between what's being asked, what the sellers think they can get, and what buyers are actually paying, that is the seller's biggest issue right now. Oddly enough, it is actually good news on both sides of the transaction. If you're a seller in Satellite Beach, you actually have one meaningful advantage. Less competition, fewer homes coming on the market, which means if your home is priced correctly and presented well, you're not fighting as many neighbors for buyers' attentions as you were in years before. But the data is clear. Buyers are price aware. So they are very knowledgeable. They're doing their homework. They know what homes are actually closing for, not just what they're listed at. So overpricing now doesn't just mean a longer wait. It means chasing the market down and likely netting less than if you would have priced it right in the first place. So the homes that are selling, and they are selling because the closed transactions was actually higher this year, are the ones that are updated, well-staged, and priced based on what buyers are paying right now, not what sellers wish the market was doing. So if you are a buyer, this market is also favorable for you. And that's because, yes, inventory is lower than last year, but closed prices are also lower. So that combination, either with fewer choices, but more realistic prices, actually creates a real opportunity for those buyers that are not being very picky and are willing to negotiate and are willing to be patient and wait for that right home. Days on the market are hovering around 51 to 82 days, depending on the property. So if a home has been sitting, there's almost certainly room to have some negotiations about the price, repairs, or even seller concessions. The well-priced homes are moving, so the overpriced ones are sitting, and that creates leverage for a very prepared buyer. So let's sum this up. Satellite Beach in 2026 is a market where more strategy it matters more than momentum. Inventory is limited, but buyers are not chasing price. They're not willing to pay just anything like they were before. That means if you're selling, presentation and price are everything. And if you're buying, patience and preparations will serve you well as well. So if you're curious about what is happening in your specific neighborhood, go ahead and grab the free neighborhood report below or just send me a message and I'll tell you exactly how your area is trending. If you found this information helpful, hit subscribe or follow me as I do these local market updates regularly, so you always know what's happening here in Satellite Beach and India Harbor Beach, straight from someone who lives here and works here. I'm Lourdes Sliwa. I'll see you next one, or maybe I'll see you at the beach. Thanks for watching.